Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. Come back to talk again about my ranking all the Disney animation movies, except for Moana 2, which I made this list before that came out. Yeah, I've been getting at this for a while. It's taken me a little while to get through it. I keep getting sidetracked, but yeah, definitely want to come back. I'm going to try to get 20 through 11 on here, and so then I'm only down to the top 10. So that's my goal here on Jason the Old Millennial. All right, let's get to it. Try to get through 10 more movies to talk about, my 20 through 11. So we're getting to movies I really like. These are really good Disney animation movies. So number 20, we're going to go with Meet the Robinsons. Yes, and this is a movie I saw in the theater, and I quite enjoyed. It's very kind of quirky. It's funny. I watched this again with family, and I think my family didn't really laugh at it, and it wasn't as fun watching with my family. I remember thinking, oh, because it is a bit quirky, a little weird. Some of the jokes don't land. But then I rewatched it again by myself, maybe a year or so ago, and I was like, yeah, I really still like this movie. I still I think it's funny. I laugh a lot of the parts. Main character, I think it's a really good main character. It's an interesting story. I think it deals with time travel and going to the future and seeing how your life's going to be, and so there's some interesting sci-fi elements in there. And it's an overall good story about keep trying and not giving up even after you fail, and so that's a really good I think message overall in the movie. And also, it kind of deals with family because he was an orphan, abandoned by his mom, and so he's kind of obsessed with finding his mom. But then he kind of, at the end, says, oh, "My adopted family is my family, and my mom did what she had to do, but I'm not going to, obsess with the past and, you know, enjoy or appreciate what I have right here and how I have this great, adopted family." So there's some really good stuff there. Bowler hat guy, absolutely hilarious. I love him as kind of a villain. He's kind of somewhat villainous character. He's not the main villain, but he made me laugh quite a bit. There's some good kind of running gags of like him trying to, he's trying to get this time machine, or he's trying to get this machine to make a bunch of money with, I think, and his plan keeps failing, and the person that he like gets to help him with the plan they keep saying, "I don't think you thought this plan through good enough." That's kind of a running gag I always enjoy. And the ending is actually very clever, how they defeat the villain. I thought it was a very clever way of doing it. Overall, really good story. Some I think some very clever jokes in there. Very creative. I think it's a very creative movie. Overall, really enjoy this. And so that's why Meet the Robinsons is number 20. Number 19, this is going to be a controversial pick probably here, but I'm standing by it, and that is Chicken Little. Number 19. I really like Chicken Little. This is a movie I also saw in the movie theater, and I thought it was really good. I laughed my head off. It's one of the funniest, I think, animation movies that Disney has made. It's, I think, considered the first full 3D movie that they made, because they did make Dinosaur, and Dinosaur is mostly 3D. I think there's maybe, I don't know. I just know I believe they consider Chicken Little to be like the first one that Disney kind of went into. Of course, Pixar and DreamWorks were already doing, I say 3D, CGI computer animated animation. Obviously, Pixar was only doing that with the Toy Story movies and all that. And then DreamWorks got into it with the Shrek movies, were getting really popular at this time. And so I think Disney Animation is trying to compete because they're still doing 2D animation at this point. And like, okay, we need to get in on this computer animated type. That's what's big right now. And yeah, overall, I really, again, really like it. It kind of takes a short story, Chicken Little, the sky's falling, and they made it into a full length, kind of story dealing with his dad. They kind of have this whole father and him and his dad are, having some trouble with their relationship after Chicken Little's mom died. And so he's trying to make his dad proud, and he had the whole baseball kind of narrative where he's going to play baseball and try and make his dad proud. His dad's just kind of embarrassed of him. And yeah, I know this movie is very hated, especially by Jacob Martin. I know you're watching this, Jacob. I think you're way wrong with this movie. I think this movie not only is funny, but I think I like the story of the father and son and how it resolves at the end where they have a better relationship. And I think it's some good dramatic moments, and I think it's great when they kind of resolve their issues. I think it's actually a really great moment. So it's mostly silly comedy, I will agree, but there's some good dramatic moments in there that I think are actually really well done. I like the cast of characters are really good. I like his two best friends. The whole school part I think is absolutely hilarious. Dodgeball. And there's some good songs in there. That One Little Slip by Bare Naked Ladies is such a catchy song. Really enjoyed that whole sequence, introducing the character. And the ending is so good when they remake the Chicken Little movie as a hero. Some really great stuff. So I still stand by this is, I think, a really good movie. And I put it here at number 19. Number 18, I got The Emperor's New Groove. I did not see this in the movie theater for some reason. I'm just thinking back, like, why did I not see this? I'm pretty sure I caught it later on, renting or DVD or something, or TV or something. And yeah, I always thought it was a pretty funny movie. When I rewatched it recently, it kind of went up my. This is a movie that kind of was like it was okay. And then last time I watched it again, I probably watched all these, a year or two ago, putting this list together, and this movie's really gone up my list quite a bit, just because I think it's one of the funniest movies in the Disney animation catalog. You got David Spade in his only performance. I think David Spade's great because he's really good at playing this kind of really obnoxious, egotistical character really well. It's kind of what he does very well. And so really good voice acting by him. John Goodman's always good. And then Patrick Warburton as Gronk. Gronk is my favorite character in the movie. He makes me laugh so hard. Him and Eartha Kitt, the villain. I think that duo is so funny. Some of the best moments in that movie. I just love I speak squirrel, squeak, 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 squeak. I don't know why. That just makes me laugh so hard when he's talking to the squirrel and he's doing those squeak, 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 And that's my that definitely steals every scene, that character. But even there's stuff like David Spade, kind of. There's some fourth wall breaking at points in this movie. David Spade's character is kind of narrating everything, and he has some funny narration in there. And of course, it's about the I forget John Gilman's character, the villager, or whatever. David Spade's character is the ruler, and he's a jerk, and it's about him becoming less of a jerk, I guess, and becoming more sympathetic towards other people lower than him. So he has that whole message, and they become good friends by the end. So it's the kind of storyline you expect out of this, but done very well. Great chemistry between those two as well. The final scene is so good of them trying to get this vial to turn him back into human. Yeah, it's just a really well done, I think, movie that's absolutely hilarious. I laughed so hard in this movie, so that's why it's here at number 18, The Emperor's New Groove. Number 17, this is an absolute classic. Could be higher on a lot of people's lists. I have some nostalgia for it, so that's why it sticks here at number 17. That's The Little Mermaid. Yeah, I mean, this movie is so definitely one of the most important movies in Disney animation and most significant movie in Disney animation, as this kind of started what's called the Disney Renaissance, which is the best era of Disney, the late 80s into the 90s, where we made Disney movies into these kind of Broadway musicals. And that formula worked so well. I mean, after Little Mermaid was such a huge hit, they then made a bunch, of course, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Pocahontas, Tarzan, Hunchback, Notre Dame, Hercules. I mean, Mulan. I mean, all these great musical and all these movies I haven't talked about yet. They're up higher on my list. A lot of my top movies are in the Renaissance era because I love the music. The music is so good, and it starts with Little Mermaid. Thanks a lot to Alan Menken, and I'm gonna forget the other guy's name. Ash, I think his name is. Those two kind of created this blueprint for how to make a really good Disney musical. And these all have had like great runs. Most of them have great runs on Broadway as live action musicals, anyways. And but yeah, Little Mermaid definitely a classic. I mean, classic story of princess, mermaid who wants to be human because she falls in love with this guy. I think Prince Eric or something like that. And her father, is against any humans at all. They're like anti-human. And then Ursula comes along and she gets to be human, gets to have human legs, but she can't talk, and she's trying to get Eric to fall in love with her without talking. Yeah, it's overall a solid story. And Ariel's a great character. Ursula, great villain. Another absolute great Disney villain. Has a great villain song. A love story, maybe not the best love story, I think, but it does have one. My favorite song actually is "Kiss the Girl." I think the whole sequence is so good, with Sebastian singing that. You got to kiss the girl, sha la 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 la, ain't that sad? Oh, just a great number, very catchy. Definitely one I sing along to a lot. The other great songs, of course, "Part of Your World" is a great song, really sung well by that actress. Of course, Under the Sea and is great as well. I do love Sebastian. He's probably my favorite character in the movie. Love the whole scene with the chef trying to cook him and eat him, and him getting away. Some great moments, but he provides a lot of good humor in there as well. The last action sequence, really good. Ursula getting the trident, whatever, and becoming all powerful, and then Eric coming in and saving the day. I watched this as a kid. I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it at a friend's house after it came out, like on video or something, on VHS probably. Went to his house, watched it, loved it. So yeah, again, it's such an important movie and having nostalgia for it. So that's why here at number 17, The Little Mermaid. Number 16, I have The Hunchback of Notre Dame. This is another movie I saw in the theater, of course, part of the Renaissance. Classic story. Of course, we've seen this story done many times before. It's from a famous book, Hunchback of Notre Dame. But I like this. Quasimodo is such a great character, such a likable, sympathetic character. He looks, weird, and so he gets made fun of. But then he meets Esmeralda, who doesn't, helps him out, and he falls in love with her. And because she's so nice, and I love that about the character. How she's also kind of, because she's a gypsy, whatever. She's also oppressed. Her people are, and so they kind of find that friendship there. Though she doesn't love him like he loves her, but they do have a great friendship. Yeah, really wonderfully animated, I think. They're really on their A game here. Again, Alan Menken, I believe, does the music. Some really good songs. It's not some of the most memorable songs, I would say, out of Disney. It's not one that won any Oscars or ones that are on the radio, but they're still very solid songs. And I'm having a hard time remembering them myself just because they're not the most memorable, but I do know I really enjoy the music overall. Yeah, it's just a classic story, really good, and a really good villain. Frollo is he's the guy you absolutely hate. I mean, he's absolutely evil and trying to be like a religious man, but being totally evil. I hate those kind of people so much. And so he does a really good job with that. And just not one good thing about him. The way he lusts after Esmeralda and wants to kill her, and how he gaslights Quasimodo for all these years and pretty much abuses him in some senses. So he feels so much for Quasimodo, man. And so the end is such a great victory for him. Even though he doesn't quite get the girl, he does, save the day and is respected at the end. But yeah, great animation, great music. Yeah, still a solid movie here at number 16, Hunchback of Notre Dame. Number 15, another movie that came out, I think, right before maybe that movie, or right after, is Hercules. Here at number 15. Yeah, another Renaissance movie coming around the same time. These are all like Renaissance movies because I love this era. I love the music. But yeah, Hercules, of course, telling the story of Hercules, another kind of classic character. And we're dealing with Greek mythology here. The animation is a little cartoonish, I think, compared to some of the other movies, because they're dealing with all these gods and stuff like that of Mount Olympus, and they're dealing with Hades and Titan and mythical creatures. So it's a little more cartoonish, I think, in animation. Wise, the music I don't love as much as some of the other movies. It's more of this gospel style, which I'm not into as much. you got the three female singers who sing kind of as the gospel. They're kind of the choir because I think a lot of these Greek myths have like the choir that, in the story. And so they sing in these kind of more gospel type songs that I'm not into. Still, they do a very good job. Hercules, another really good character. He was born a god, but then but then he kind of became human, and so he has to do something heroic to get back into Olympia, whatever, and his dad's Zeus and all that. And so in Hades, of course, doesn't want him to do that. Hades wants to take over Olympia. He wants to release the Titans and take over Olympia. So you got that whole storyline going there. And you got him and I think Phil, who's this creature played by Danny DeVito, who's training him to be a hero. And then you got Meg, who he saves and he falls in love with, but she's actually kind of secretly with Hades, but she reluctantly falls in love with Hercules. And my favorite song in the movie is her song about I can't fall in love or something like that. She's like, no, I won't. I'm not falling in love or something like that. Very catchy number. It's actually my favorite in the movie. The big number is I Will Go the Distance, which is a solid song. Again, didn't win any Oscars, wasn't a big musical compared to some of the other ones, but still a very solid movie. And again, the action movie scene is actually really good. Like when he fights the three-headed, what I forget it's called, the three-headed dragon, Hydra, or whatever, and you chop up one head and three more. Great sequence, I think. And then the very end sequence is really good, where his love for Meg is so strong, and then he eventually becomes a god again. Really good stuff. Hades is one of my favorite villains, mostly because James Woods. James Woods gives such a great performance. It's a funny villain. Yeah, he's Hades, so he can be scary at times. He's kind of got intimidation about him, but yet it's a very funny character, and James Woods plays it so well. It's definitely like one of my favorite villains of all time, anyways. But yeah, so that's Hercules here, number 15. Number 14 is Robin Hood. The animation in the 70s, I believe it came out. This was my favorite movie. We talked about this on recently, I think. I don't know if it was on Jacob's channel, Jake Martin's channel, or Nick's Townsend 505 channel, but we recently were ranking our favorite movies from the kind of the Dark Age, the 80s period, which is kind of like the Dark Age or the Bronze Age. And this was my favorite movie from the 80s, 70s, 80s. Sorry, this came out in the 70s, but it's like mid 70s into the 80s. And this was my favorite movie from it. Yeah, I have a lot of nostalgia for this. I saw it as a kid, obviously not in the theaters before I was born, but always loved this as a kid. It was one of my favorite animation movies. Robin Hood story, again, just I love Disney takes these really classic stories and puts the Disney touch on it, and you got a great movie. Robin Hood's such a great character, this fox character, and you got kind of Little John is Baloo, basically playing Little John. It's got some Jungle Book characters in it, which is kind of fun. And John and the Sheriff of Nottingham, great villainous characters, some very humorous moments with them. We were talking about, I just love the mama, and then he sucks his thumb. I got a dirty thumb. Like some of that stuff is great. You got the snake from Jungle Books in there. Asaya, he's got that great voice as well. Some great voice acting. I think overall a pretty funny movie. It's a great action adventure. There's some good sword fighting. For as a kid, I loved all the sword fighting, the bow and arrow stuff. Yeah, all that. And the music is so good. It's got some really catchy tunes. The beginning song I love so much. The Robin Hood and Little John running through the forest. Ooga-la, 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 day. Oh, so catchy. And there's another sad song about Nottingham. It's just a really sad ballad also in there. And some other great stuff. But yeah, I absolutely love this movie. Robin Hood here at number 14. Number 13, I got 101 Dalmatians. And this was actually my favorite movie of the Silver Age, which was movies that came out in, I think, the 60s. And this was my number one movie of that age. So, yeah, this was one I kind of remember kind of as a kid, seeing parts and bits and parts of it. But I don't know if I ever really watched it all the way through until like a year or so ago. I went through and like watched this all the way through. Man, it was way better than I expected. I love I have two dogs, so I kind of love the whole main characters as dogs. There's some great moments with them. How like at the beginning, the people walking the dogs look like their dogs. I think that's somewhat true in real life. I thought that was kind of funny. I loved how the dogs help each other out, and when one barks, another one hears it and then barks and barks, and it gets all the way to this stable where they're trying to find where these kidnapped puppies are, and it's got this horse who I think it was a horse that he's like called the general or the colonel or something like that, and he's like a military animal or something, and he runs the barn like a military thing. I kind of liked all that. I thought the characters, all the animal characters, really great. And I love the Dalmatians themselves are great. And Cruella de Vil, one of the greatest films. Again, just the whole design, her whole design, her hair, the long cigarette, the fur coat. Man, what a great. I mean, when she's driving that car trying to get to and she's got that crazy look in her eyes. She has the craziest look in her eyes. I mean, what a great design for a villain. Definitely another top, 10 villain, I think. Can't deny that. And there's some moments that make me almost cry, like when they think one dog is dead, the puppy they think when it was born dead, and then he rubs it and then it comes back alive. I don't know, I kind of tear up at that moment, and then they call it lucky because it was lucky that it survived or whatever. And then that's one of my favorite characters in the movie, throughout the movie as well. And yeah, I don't know what to say. It's just a great movie about dealing with dogs, and uh, it's funny, it's heartwarming. I don't know. I just absolutely love it. 101 Dalmatians here, number 13. Number 12, I've got Brother Bear. And I did not see this in the movie theater. I think I rented it on DVD or something like that afterwards. And yeah, another just solid movie, and another musical, and another Phil Collins musical, which you'll see Tarzan a little bit higher on my list. But I love Phil Collins music. If you've watched my videos on music, I'm a big fan of Phil Collins. And I love his music in this one as well as Tarzan. Makes some great songs. I think it's ones like "Here's My Family." That's one. I'm forgetting the name. I'm forgetting the songs on top of my head, but once I hear them, I'll remember them. But there's some really good songs here. Again, nothing got nominated or anything, so it's not as known. And it feels like this is a movie people forget about. It wasn't as big as some of the other. And it seems like this is kind of one of the 2D animated movies that came out right before they started doing computer generated with Chicken Little and stuff like that. And they started going into the computer animated kind of way. And so this is one of the last great like 2D animation I feel like Disney did. But it's a really cool story of this guy who he goes to get revenge because I think he thinks that bear like killed his family member. So he goes and kills this bear, and then he turns into the bear, and then he has to, he becomes friends with that bear's son or whatever, and now he feels guilty because he killed his son's mom or whatever and it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you don't really understand somebody unless you walk in their shoes. And this point, it's talking about, this Native American and a bear. And then he kind of learns what bears are like, and then realizing, how wrong he was to get revenge and all that. And yeah, so there's a kind of a cool story there. The two moose are the funniest characters, played by like Rick Moranis and I'm going to forget the other guy, but two Canadians. They play these Canadian moose and these brothers or whatever. Man, they are funny. Definitely the best characters in the movie. There's a lot of funny scenes though, and I said great musical, good animated movie, really good story with a great ending to it. So Brother Bear here at number 12. Number 11, my last movie I'm going to try to get in here, and that is Pocahontas, which might surprise people. Pocahontas, you might say, in front of Little Mermaid, in front of 101 Dalmatians. Yeah, I really like Pocahontas. And I saw it in the theater, and I really liked it when I saw it in the theater. And when I watched it recently, I was like, wow, this is maybe the best animated movie, 2D animated movie I've ever seen. The 2D animation is beautiful. Oh my gosh. There's a scene where Pocahontas comes in through the fog, and there's a waterfall, and John Smith sees her for the first time, and you see her coming through the fog. Oh my gosh, the cinematography is absolutely amazing. It's just so wonderful to look at. I think it's a really good looking movie. It tells again a classic true story kind of Pocahontas and John Smith, and us coming over to America, to the Americas, and dealing with Native Americans and not understanding their way, and they're not understanding our way, and they're fighting. Of course, the Native Americans and the Europeans coming over would fight for many years over the land, and so it kind of deals with the racism of that. But there's some really good music. I mean, Colors of the Wind, and just a great song. Love that song, really beautifully sung. But there's the What's Around the River Bend. That's a great song too. But there's a lot of good musical numbers here. I like the animal characters are good too. It's inaccurate, probably historically, but I don't care. It was, I thought, a really well done movie. Again, just beautifully animated, and just great music and a good story overall. So yeah, I stand behind it. Pocahontas, I think, is a really good movie. I really like it. It's one of my favorite here at number 11 on my list. So that is my 20 through 11. So I got through 10 quick ones here, and I'm left with my top 10, which I'm excited to get to and talk about. But tell me what you think about these movies. I know some of you are going to say, Chicken Little? You hate Chicken Little. I don't care. I love it. I stand by it. And so, yeah, let me know what you think. And besides that, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for liking it. Thank you to all my subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate it all, and I hope you have a good weekend.